Hi everyone, it's Cad Sticker with Soul Shift Saturdays, and I'm so glad you could join me. I'm broadcasting on Soul Shifters Guild in Facebook and on YouTube on our Moonglow Life channel and on Twitch on our Moonglow Life channel. And I'm here to talk to you tonight about tuning in to synchronicities. I know I've mentioned synchronicities in a lot of other shows, but today we're going to really focus in on that and how we can read the signs. I think my music might be a little bit loud. What do you think, Randall? Yeah, okay, I didn't know it was going to be that loud. Well, I've been trying to get to you guys all day. What happened was we had soccer today. We had a soccer tournament. We had multiple games, and it was sort of out of town. It was like a couple of hours south of us. So we had to drive down, then we drove back home in between games, and we had to drive back down, and we were there all day. And then the last game got delayed a couple of hours because of lightning. We had to wait. So I had to keep pushing back my show a little bit because I don't know about doing it from the phone. I don't think I can do that good of a job from the phone. So I thought I'd wait till I got home and everybody got fixed back up. I mean, I know my hair is like a mess from sitting out in the sun all day, but I'm still in braids and stuff. But I did change my shirt for you. So anyway, we had a good time at the games, and there's another game tomorrow morning. So we're going to have to drive back down in the morning. But I'm very proud of my son and the work he's doing on the field. Who is tuning in? Hi, Sharon. So glad you could join us. And good evening. That must be Michael. Let me get on my Facebook. Yeah, it's Michael's on with me too. Make sure. Oh gosh. Make sure my volume's down on the phone. Well, Sharon, I'm glad you could join us. We are going to talk today about synchronicities. Oh no, one of my lights went out. I don't know what happened there. No, must be a sign. And that's what we're going to talk about. How do we know when things are signs or synchronicities, and how can we read the signs? Well, I've been thinking about this a bit because I've been studying this thing called chiromancy, and this is a term coined by Robert Moss, and he coined the term chiromancy because Kairos is an ancient god who is like the antithesis of Chronos, which is like chronological time. Let me try one more time with this light. I know what's going on with my light. This is a brand new light. Why is it not working well? Anyways, y'all can still see me pretty good, huh? I'll turn up this other light. So anyway, what Robert Moss is doing is trying to show people how they can read their dreams and synchronicities and other signs that are given to them. And I think that's a really cool idea. And so one thing I want everyone to do, we'll have, just coming on and off. This has got to be a sign, right? I'm not doing anything to this light. It just keeps turning on and off. And I don't think it's a short because it's brand new. Anywho, I'm going to have this challenge at the end for y'all to work on, but I'm going to save that for the end. But right now, I just want to go through some things that you can try to read. And you're going to use your own kind of internal database or your intuition to interpret these things. One is coincidences. So those are what we call synchronicities. Some people may refer to them as coincidences, but are there really coincidences? Some people believe there are no such thing as coincidences, and that if there's if there's a couple of things that line up that it's highly unlikely that those things would occur, and they seem correlated, then that may be a sign to you, shown as a synchronicity or a coincidence. I got the spirits talking to me. Is that what it is? Maybe so. I think so. And I have some other examples from today. So when I think last show we talked more about mindfulness, but for this exercise, you really have to use that kind of mindfulness, that being aware of what's going on around you, being aware of your surroundings and what's happening, and questioning a lot, doing a lot of questioning. Is that a sign? So there could be coincidences, and then other signs, like, for instance, you may have, some people get numerological signs. I can't even say that. But for instance, that you may notice the same numbers popping up, or maybe a sequence of numbers popping up over and over, and that could be a sign. Or it could be an animal that appears to you. And so, you know, I mean, we see wildlife everywhere we go, but was there something unusual about how this animal appeared to you? Was it like super friendly, or it came in an unexpected way or place? Those kind of things could be signs. And so how can you read that? How do you know what that means? What on earth does it mean? Well, if it's a sign for you, then you would know best. There are, you know, for instance, you can Google certain animals as a spirit animal, and it'll tell you what that means, right? Someone's defined what that could symbolize to you. And that's because certain things tend to symbolize in our society, maybe with certain definitions. For instance, a rose may symbolize love, you know, because people give roses to other people on Valentine's Day or as a symbolic gesture of love. But maybe a rose doesn't mean that to you. Maybe it means something completely different because you received a rose for something else. Or maybe the color has a certain significance to you. So you can't always go by what the common definition is. That's a place to start. But when people try to interpret your signs for you, you know, they're just guessing, really, because you may have a deeper meaning for that sign. And so I would look inward when you think you may have a sign. Look inwardly. What could that mean? And what could it mean in the context of what's going on in my life right now, of what questions I have out there? Or even better, ask a question and ask for a sign, and then during the day, see what pops up. To me, that's really an interesting way to do it, because then it's not like it's just something, you know, random. You don't know what it's referring to. You've already asked a question, and so now you're expecting an answer to that question. And then you could kind of go back and verify and say, is this the answer to my question? So I think that's one way, a good way to approach it. What's something else? Wonders. Wonders are like miracles. Something that is highly unusual, highly unlikely to occur. And usually here we're talking about like in a positive context too. The miracle of birth, or it could be a miracle that, you know, this dog found his way home after having been lost 100 miles away or something like that. I mean, there can be these wonders and miracles that occur that leave you with a feeling of the miraculous, like this light. I don't know if that's a miracle, but you know what I'm saying? It's like something that's unusually terrific, amazing, and that leaves you in awe. Those things are definitely something you should tune into. And why am I being shown this miracle? Why is this miracle coming at this time? And especially if you ask for a miracle, that's definitely something that was sent to you. So be sure to just keep track of these things. Now, I'll just talk briefly about one thing that happened today. I mean, there's signs all around, but I've had several signs this week. And first, let me talk about something that happened Friday. I guess that's yesterday. It seems like a million years ago. But in the morning on Friday, I saw a post from one of my friends on Facebook. And the post was about she and her daughter were walking down by the stream and looking for crystals in the stream and little pieces of glass and stuff like that. And they were having a lovely time. And they saw a crane, this beautiful white bird, come and land in the water up ahead. And so they went up there to get a picture of it. And some guy came up and got out of his car and shot the bird, and then got in and drove away. And then there they are with this dead, beautiful, giant dead crane laying there. And she took a picture of it. I mean, it wasn't a gross picture or anything. It was a beautiful crane, and it was just laying there. And that touched my heart so much. I cried about it all day on Friday. And it wasn't just because someone got out and shot the crane. It wasn't about necessarily that particular bird. But it was about so much more than that, because that bird to me symbolized more than that to me. It symbolized injustice, like every injustice that's ever occurred in the world was, to me, represented by that white crane, that pure white, innocent life that was taken for no reason. And it really made me think, and I felt like, why was I being shown this at this time? And so I really have been thinking about that ever since. And why was I shown that? Why am I thinking about the injustices of the world? Is this related to maybe Afghanistan or coronavirus, or, what is this? How is this related to my life, and what can I do about that? Yeah. So Michael commented about Coco eating a whole bar of chocolate. Yeah, that was an accident. We left out some chocolate and the dog got it, but luckily she didn't die. So, but maybe her survival was a sign, right? Then today, we went to a park during that lightning delay for 2 hours. We didn't want to just sit out there in the sun in a soccer field, so we drove to a park down the street. And they had some water. It was really pretty. And we walked out on this little wooden, pier or dock or something. It was really long little platform out into the marsh, because it was a real swampy area. And there was, we came to like this platform, I guess it's where people fish and stuff, in this small, still lake. And as we approached, there was this crow that was sitting on the rail, and just let my daughter walk right up to it. And right away when I saw that crow, I haven't seen a crow in a really long time, I felt like that crow was a messenger, because the way it let her approach like that. And so I kind of honed in on that. It was like, there's a message coming. And then shortly after that, we walk up there, and there's this lake, and there's stuff like flipping out of the lake. And there were all these fish in the lake, these huge fish that were jumping out, jumping up. And we just stood there for a long time watching these fish jump out of the water, and they'd be like, floop, 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 floop. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And I felt like that this is a sign. These fish, what did the fish symbolize? I don't even know what kind of fish they were, but apparently there's some kind of jumping fish. They looked like they were having a blast, like they were playing or something. And that was sort of a wonder, right? That was not something you see every day. And I felt like because we'd just seen the crow and now we're seeing these unusual jumping fish, and they jumped the whole time we were there, and there weren't any other people, it was just us. I felt like that was a sign. So when I kind of delved into it, my intuition told me that the fish represented abundance, and that this abundance is presenting opportunities all over the place, and that the opportunity is going to be with something that's joyful, right? It's going to be something joyful that's creating abundance. That's what I got out of that. And I think I can get more specific about it if I think more about it. Of course, then we had to rush. We were rushing back to soccer, and I didn't really have time to think about it further. But that's the type of thing I'm talking about with reading the signs. The crow was telling me there's a message. So I start paying attention, and then there's the fish jumping out, the fish of abundance. I got to start looking for these opportunities. Something else that you might encounter are visions. And I won't say that I have visions all the time, but I've had waking visions when I wasn't meditating, when I wasn't journeying, that just started playing before my eyes, like little movies. And those, of course, I believe are meaningful. And you can't help but pay attention when something like that happens, because you're just like, whoa, this is crazy. And it's more than just a daydream. It's something that you weren't trying to think about, just appears before you. That's a vision. That's something to pay attention to. And then also, when you are trying to have a vision and you're journeying, doing a shamanic journey or doing a meditation, and you receive messages, it could be audio messages, it could be clairvoyance, it could be just claircognizance, where you just start knowing stuff. However you receive the message, or maybe it's after you do the meditation and stuff starts coming through as you get these downloads. Those are very important. You should definitely pay attention, and that's why it's important to journal right after you do your meditation, before you forget it, because those types of messages that come through, a lot of times they're easy to forget, like dreams. That's another one, dreams. So when you're sleeping and you have a dream, are all dreams signs and have messages? I don't know. I think probably that we have dreams that are just sorting stuff out from our day, and other ones that are more significant. But that's up to you to determine which is which, right? And the only way to do that is, one, you have to remember the dream, and two, you have to record it before you forget it, and then be able to analyze that in the context of, again, what's going on in your life, and what those types of symbols, and your dreams are always very symbolic, what those mean to you. Now, also with dreams, you can have stuff that's mixed together. So there could be someone in your dream that's not really significant or symbolic. Maybe you just saw them in a movie, or that's a person from your life, and that was just like a placeholder person in your dream. But the action is what was important, or vice versa. Maybe it's just the action was just something routine that you normally do, but the person in your dream was something symbolic. So it just depends on what it is, on how you can interpret that. So with all that being said, I want to get to that little challenge. So I want you guys to participate in this challenge, and this is just every day in the morning, ask a question, write it down in your journal, and ask a question that you're trying to get signs for. And then throughout the day, be mindful of when you see something that could be a sign. You don't have to know right away if it is or not, but say it's like, for instance, some numbers that you think might be symbolic. You find a feather, a bird comes and you think it might be a messenger, whatever it is. Or maybe it's something that seems very related to what you were asking about. Record that. And also, before you go to bed at night, ask the question, because you might have a dream that's related to it. So in the morning and the evening, ask the question and then see what signs come through, and see if after 30 days, how many of your questions received some sort of synchronicity as an answer, or even a direct vision as an answer. And I think this will be a really fun exercise to do, and may get you into the habit more of looking at signs. Also, I should have put cycles. So there can be, if you're really in touch with the cycles of the earth, like the moon cycle and the seasons, and maybe even the water cycle. So for instance, maybe you have a rainy season and a dry season, some things that are in nature, maybe cycles for plants, the birth, life, death cycle. These types of things can hold symbolism, as with that pumpkin plant that blew into the garden on the wind and has been, I talk about that pumpkin plant all the time. It's still growing. It's growing. It makes me feel like Cinderella here with the pumpkins. And so these things in nature, you can find a lot of synchronicities in nature. So be sure to spend a little bit of time outside or with something natural like plants, to be able to harvest the signs that are coming from nature, because you're going to find a lot in those cycles of nature. I don't want you to forget to do that. Also, I do have, and then also with this 30-day challenge, be sure to post in our Soul Shifters Guild Facebook group about your results. So you can, if you have you can post all 30 days if you want, or if you have a day that seems more significant or you're really excited about it, be sure to post that and let us all see what's going on with you. And then I had one more thing. I don't know what this music is. It's playing. I don't think it's what I thought I was going to be playing. It's very dramatic. So I just have this cool announcement, or it's kind of a preview of an announcement that I'm going to do more on later. I'm really excited that we're going to have what is called the Moonglow Life Hub. I'm going to add on to our website. And so originally I've been looking at this, at creating an app. And so I was looking at Passion.io, and Passion.io has a great app builder. And I started working with this Passion, it's called Passion Fighters, or the Passion Fighters group or whatever, to create this app. And they have a really cool product, but it didn't have all the functionality that I really wanted. And so I started looking further and found this Mighty Networks. And Michael told me about this Mighty Networks. And so I started looking at creating something with them. They have more of this way to create a little community, and that also allows you to launch courses and events and do lives and things like that. And it has an app. So I'm trying to right now, I'm in a free trial mode on that to create something. And so it shouldn't be too much longer before I launch that. And so I'm really excited to talk about that. But if you have any comments, about what you'd like to see in the Moonglow Life Hub. So this would be like a community. It's similar to creating your own Facebook, really, without all the Facebook drama. And you can even create little groups and have topics, and it has a feed and everything in there. Plus, I can launch courses through their workshops and do live events and all that through that page, which would be incorporated into our moonglowlife.com website. Plus, you'd have the Mighty Networks app that you could download and be able to like do it all in an app. So I think it's a really good idea. But I wouldn't mind getting some feedback from the Soul Shifters Guild Facebook group about what you'd like to see in that. All right, that's all I have for tonight, you guys. I love you. Oops, I just put up a banner on accident. I have a heavy finger. Good night, and I will talk to you later. Bye.